Hey everyone, I'm finally back. This is DisturbingPuppet. We're back today to play some more Warhammer 40,000 Sanctus Reach, playing through the Space Wolf campaigns. I've had some work being done on my apartment lately, so it's been a while since I've been able to stream. So hopefully everything will work fine as we try to continue. We've got a couple skirmishes left, and then I think one more final mission on this first Space Wolf campaign. Yeah, so we've got two skirmishes and then the last of the story missions, and this is the first of the two Space Wolf campaigns. We will do the next one as well. It doesn't really matter which one we pick, it's just basically a random skirmish. So let's go. For people interested in the saga, I had a leak a while back in my apartment that lasted for 19 days before they finally got it to stop. And then it took them about 2 months to actually start doing any real repairs or fixing anything. They finally kind of tore some ceiling and walls out a little bit and repaired some things. But in some areas, they basically just kind of, yeah, that's probably mold. Oh well, just replace the wallpaper and plaster over it. It's fine. Not sure how great that is. Yay! Anyway. Space Wolves hold positions in the west. Orcs hold positions in the east. Both forces have orders to advance without losing their bases. The objective for both sides is to control the most victory points when the turn limit runs out. Looks like quite a few troops. I've got a pretty big kind of walled orc settlement up here on the hill. Might be a bit of a mess. 5,000 points, but I do have my whirlwind. So having the artillery is really good. I'm just definitely taking that. Just great for thinning out the overall hordes of orcs that are going to come our way. Do we have anything else new? Anything interesting? We'll probably take all of my Terminators with Storm Bolters. We'll probably take all of my regular Marines with Bolters. Probably take all my Land Speeders. The Heavy Flamers, possibly. Do have my Wolf Priest here. Bikers to scout for my artillery, most likely. Let's just go ahead and grab all of my regular Marines with Bolters. We've got a bunch of upgrades with them. You can see they're all kind of level 4. We have various upgrades. Some of them better at taking out armor targets, others more infantry focused. We have Bjork here if we want. Not bad. Got anti-tank ammo with a Storm Bolter. Get morale back for units when we kill stuff. Got a chance to avoid getting killed. We might take him. I usually don't take a lot of the Blood Claws. We occasionally take Hengist just because he's cheap. Might grab a Dreadnought or two. Alright, let's just start grabbing Terminators. We've upgraded them quite a bit. Let's grab my Land Speeders. They've been upgraded quite a bit as well, and killing off units, so they've got pretty good abilities to finish off enemies. Especially the heavier targets like the Killicans and stuff. I've still got a couple thousand points. We'll grab a couple bikers. Maybe we'll grab lower level guys. See if we can level them up. So you do have a Meltabomb if we can get in close with you. I'd like to have one for each side of the field. Variety of grenades. We've got extra armor and seeker ammo. That's not too bad of a combo. Grab you. Just have tons of Terminators. Taking Bjork here if we want. It's only 100 points. It's not bad. What have you got? Extra armor, mastercrafted weapons, and getting HP back for killing guys. Sure, let's take you. You just got some extra armor. That's not bad. Still have a lot of points left. Do have my heavy bolter guys here, so we can take them. They've got a little bit extra range and accuracy. They heal every turn, and then we've got healing balm on them as well. I don't really feel like the heroes are kind of worth the points sometimes. 320 is pretty hefty for one guy when I can grab some heavy flamer Terminators or something instead. 100 for one guy isn't terrible because he does have a Storm Bolter. A lot of the characters just have bolt pistols, which really reduces their effectiveness quite a bit. Let's plan on taking you. 500 points still. What else do we want? I guess we could take more heavy bolters. We could take a heavy flamer unit. guys are pretty good. Let's go ahead and take them. We've got the ability to heal if we get into combat and get some melee kills, and we're better at close combat, so we can get in close with them if we need to. What else do I want to take? 240 is kind of an odd number of points left. I don't really feel like the Beltaguns are that worth it. Wolf Priest is 200. What have you got? Got some Healing Balm. Just a bolt pistol. It's not super effective. Could take some Bikers and a unit of Blood Claws. The regular Flamers, I feel like the range is so short on them, it's not super effective to take. For me, a lot of the strategy, like I've said many times, is sort of picking my army and deciding what I'm going to do, and then sort of setting them up as well. So I'm already kind of planning how I'm going to set things up and how I'm going to use people based on the selection of the units that I'm taking. Got Scare Grenade, we've got anti-tank ammo. Let's go ahead and grab these guys, and we'll just grab one of the Blood Claws. See if someone has a useful upgrade. You've got extra armor. You've got a Tangle Grenade. That could be useful. Let's take Tangle Grenade. Alright, what do we got here? So now we can move everybody around that we want to, and we most likely will. So the objectives are all in the back. Looks like. We had some to defend as well. Yeah, we do. Okay, there's one there, and one there. Alright. What kind of terrain are we looking at? That's pretty rough. There is a way up on top of this hill and then down into the fort. Things are fairly clear here. Although I'm not sure we can scale this. I think we'll have to come in from the side or the back. So kind of straight up and then right. Why do I even have units in here? I guess there is an objective in here. So we do need to defend all of these if we can. So we sort of need 3 strike groups. We'll keep the artillery in the middle. We'll put some scouts up. Land speeder for now. We can kind of hide. Dreadnought's really slow, so we want to push him out. Kind of reposition you somewhere over here. Yeah, we can have you guys hang out here, that's fine. Use you to scout. Got 1 land speeder with each group. We'll have 1 biker squad with each group. Now just go there. Let's get everybody out of here, because you're not going to be able to do much inside those walls. Stormbolters, Stormbolters, where's my Flamers? There's my Flamers. Where do we want to send the Flamers? That's fairly open, so that's not a bad choice. Advancing up the hill here might not be bad either. There's sort of a natural choke points there. So let's actually shift him over to that side. I know I'm moving the camera around a bunch. Heavy bolters, where is it more open? Center's pretty open. Sort of deploy along here. Terminators are a bit slow, we'll just throw them out front. I can't go there, can I? There. Marines, let's move up. Just kind of setting up a giant firing line seems to be the most effective thing I've done with Marines so far. Just because of the reaction fire, the amount of lead I can throw downfield, just generally makes me pretty effective at wiping out infantry units. Okay, you've got a couple squads. Got the Terminators. Let's add some longer range guys out here. Well, almost missed Bjork there. Let's put Bjork in the center. I can't deploy there. You out here. Alright, is it everybody forward? I think that's everybody forward. Nope, still have one more unit. Throw the Blood Claws up as far as I can too, just because they need to get really close to be effective. I've got pretty good forces on either side. I think we'll be okay. Where do I want to put you guys? I guess we are running kind of short range here, so let's add a little bit of firepower in this general direction. And let's put you guys more in the center. Try to get that tangle off if we can somewhere. I'm not sure how close the orcs are going to be to start with. Okay, I think that's everybody. Just as a nice little alternate view here, going to see my front lines. Kind of how we're set up. So if the orcs aren't super close, we should be pretty good here, I think. Just admiring the models a little bit. They're pretty nice. For a game like this, when you're mostly zoomed all the way out, you don't really see much. It's actually kind of nice that they've got fairly decent models. I think we're pretty well set. I'm just curious how close the orcs are going to be here. I don't see anything on the mini-map yet. Hear buggies on the move. We saw nothing. Okay. Alright, let's start with the bikers and do a little bit of scouting. That's actual cover. Nothing yet. Okay. We do have the Auspex on them that we can pop if we want. But we've got pretty good vision with them. Let's pop the Auspex here, actually. There's some orcs. Knobs are pretty tough, so they're typically what I focus on first. Got no shots from here. So for now I may want to pull back and see if I can draw them in. I think we're probably in artillery range here already, right in the center. You guys have no targets as well. That's pretty far away. Alright, let's check on the left. Just stick behind a little tiny bit of cover, some oil barrels. Check our Auspex. Yeah, there's a pretty good amount of troops. There's nothing is in range. Just kind of setting up for some shots if they want to move in on us. pretty much everything's going to be out of my range, I think. But we'll take a look. Heavy flamers. So the plan with the heavy flamers is sort of to walk up the hill and then walk into this base. That's sort of the idea. Don't get reaction shots with them, so we might as well just move in as close as we can, plan to kill stuff. They will attract a bit of fire. You are awfully slow, aren't you? Alright, let's go there. We do have a shot. Might as well take it. Doesn't really matter if we take a shot or not. Still get our reaction fire even if we take multiple shots. I don't have to actually save them for my opponent's turn or anything. Alright, you guys, let's just hang out here for now. See if anything moves up on us. Just want to be ready. There might be some stuff there I can't see. I don't want to move too far. The only way I've really lost units to orcs typically is when I get swarmed and have a unit isolated. Occasionally I will get guys just chopped up by like a warlord or something, but usually it's when someone's isolated and they just get wrecked. For now, let's just stay in the back a little bit. Land speeders are really good at getting in and getting hits and then kind of running away. Yeah, we do have artillery targets. Yeah, let's just go ahead and hit these knobs, I think. Pretty accurate fire there, just about killed them. Still inch ahead a little bit. Yeah, let's just stay there. Heavy bolters, we do have some extra range with them. Let's see if we can actually hit anything. Yeah, we can. That's our chance here. Yeah, let's just try to finish off these knobs. There we go. We do have decreased damage at long range, so that's part of why it wasn't a whole lot there. Partially because the knobs are tough, but also just decreased from the long range. So we've got a lot more guys out on the left I'm going to have to worry about, probably. We kind of have to go around here. I'm not sure. That might be okay there to go in. I'm not sure if we can get through here into that objective. If that's possible, we might go that route as well. Kind of going up on this hill, one squad going this way, well, platoon or whatever you want to call it, and then the other kind of going in this way, with them going straight at this objective. So from here, let's just inch up a little bit. Terminators are slow, so you'd have to get them moving. Do have a shot, actually, which I almost didn't see. 90% chance is worth it. Nice. Let's have you guys sort of look the other direction, actually. There's a lot of crap in the way here. Mostly rough ground. It's not actually stuff blocking my vision. Alright, let's move you guys up in cover. I mainly just want to get them in range to maybe use the Tangle Grenade. Otherwise, they're not super useful. Some height in the back. See if they want to move in. We'll get some shots at them. And here. But not ho! There's some targets. War buggies are kind of quick, so I typically want to hit them because they might try to sneak in and grab objectives. Totally destroyed it. The weapons, when you take out like an enemy vehicle, it will actually leave wreckage that can be used as cover. So there we took it out and then even blew it up. So no cover for you. Not in range there yet. You can hit your own guys as well. That's part of why I use sort of these line formations as I move forward. So kind of positioning, trying to be careful not to shoot my own people. Yeah, I wonder if these barrels are actually blocking my view. They shouldn't. I think I would be able to shoot over them. They just give me some cover. Alright, where do we put you? We can't actually go over the wall, it looks like. We can kind of pop up here and maybe have vision if they're closer. I think they're too far away. So for now, let's just kind of hang out a little bit in the back. If they want to move up, we'll get a shot at them. So we'll just stay there for now. I think that's everyone. Yep. Alright, we'll zoom out, let the orcs have their turn. Actually, I haven't saved this game in forever. Because it just kind of auto-saves, but just in case. Alright, let's let the orcs do what they're going to do. Hopefully we'll get some shots off as they move in. Looking for the killer cans, looking for knobs, war bosses, that kind of thing. Kind of my priority targets. And those guys are instantly dead. It's the power of those upgraded Marines. No, they're not pushing forward that much, actually. That's interesting. Alright, we didn't use our Auspex out here, so let's try to do a little bit of scouting and maybe we'll use it, see if we spot anything. I'm nervous not seeing anything. Let's go ahead and use it. Just have a couple guys guarding this. Not much, actually. Looks pretty clear, honestly. Alright. Can I get an angle on these guys to the left? Must be too far away still. I still don't have a shot at them. That's kind of odd. I think I'd be in range. Alright, let's send everybody in that direction. Since we don't have a lot of resistance here, we'll just kind of fold in this way. Actually, let's send my flamers in. Don't know if they're going to be in range here. Looks like not quite. Yeah, not quite in range for my flamers to hit them. But we'll face them anyway. Finish them off anyway. So much for them. These guys are really far away. Let's just watch the hill. Try to move in on the hill here. Since it seems like there isn't anything out this way, at least not close enough that's going to be an issue. Where do we want to go? Let's stay back a little bit. And by that I mean away from the horde that's that direction. We'll just kind of hang out here. I want to be close enough that if something heavy is in here, we can maybe move in, get some shots, and then move away in the same turn. Alright, let's try a little bit of scouting here and see if we can spot anything else. These red tiles are where I'll get shot at if I move, just from enemies that I can see. There aren't a lot of orcs in this area. Let's just pound these poor guys. They're just too close. And move in. Let's see, let's just go to about here for now. Oh, they survived. Not for long. Bye-bye. Yeah. Not even much left of them. Hey, Sunganif is here! Actually, I was wondering, am I saying Sunganif right? Or is it Sunnif? Is the G silent? You are my most regular commenter. And I do appreciate it. No silent letters. English, the wonderful language that it is. Alright, good job there, guys. I've got shots here, too. Let's go ahead and go for them. They are knobs, so they're pretty tough here. Try to soften them up a little bit. Not sure where I'm going to put the bikers. Let's hold off on them for now. Have the other storm bolters take some shots. Kind of hang out behind the cover, I guess. I was just asking how far I'm in the campaign. So this is the second to last skirmish of the first campaign. So after this, there's one more skirmish than the final story mission. But that's of the first campaign. So getting pretty far. The last story mission took forever to do. Just kind of hanging out, defending against waves after wave of orcs. Just took a ridiculous amount of time. Actually hit some stuff I can't even see back there. It was... So the mission, it was something in Gothtown. It was sort of defending some... Imperial bastion of some kind for a certain number of turns. They just kept spawning in hordes and hordes and hordes of guys. It basically just kind of a little square box with some openings on each side, and then a city area off to the left. But yeah, it was crazy long. It took me like 4.5 hours to finish that mission. And I did it all at once. I probably should have broken it up. It just seemed to go on forever. Just more and more orcs kept showing up. So it was just, defend it for the entire time. And man. I should have probably taken a break. Yeah, Fortress Precinct something or other. Something like that. I think just because it kept spawning, I'd wiped out all the original guys, and then it was just more and more and more kept coming. And if it, had been the originals and that was it, would have been fine. Yeah, it's one of those ones with when you're fighting a defensive mission, when it's just going to spawn waves at you. Yeah, that's not super compelling. I often don't make it to the whole turn limit. I just sort of wipe out all the orcs, and then we're done a little quicker. But if you have to keep fighting off wave after wave after wave, it just goes on and on and on. Let's see if I can just move in and gun these guys down. I didn't see them before. Take some shots, and then we'll move back with the land speeder. That's why they're so effective. Let's go here. We'll look that direction. Alright, let's try to find some more enemies out here. Yeah, that's what I was expecting. Okay, we do have the secret rounds on him, so let's try to pump some into the Killer Can. Make him a little bit easier to hit. Not really expecting to do any damage here. There's a lot of cover and stuff in the way, so that's why our chances are so low. We'll probably pull them back. So there's an Imperial Guard mission where you fight a massive size map, and the whole map is basically one long narrow pathway to the center. It takes 50 gazillion turns just to get to the actual battle on the map. Yeah, I mean, even if you load guys up, and that's something I don't actually do much, I don't really load people up onto transports and then move them around much, and maybe that would make things move a little faster for some stuff, but I typically prefer having my guys available for shots instead. That's my chances here. I've got a good chance to hit, so we'll just stay here. Wasn't a lot of damage, though. It's because we're at range. Did take about half his health off. We can still move up a step. Okay, anyone have armor penetrating anything? Not you. Not you, but you do have Mastercrafted and Metal Storm and Hellfire. Not you guys. Just armor. Alright, well, you're kind of up then. Send a land speeder in to try to finish off the Killer Can. It's out of range. How about now? There we go. So maybe it's a Space Marine one, not an Imperial Guard. Great, something to look forward to. Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that yet, but it doesn't surprise me. I used to play a lot of the old Panzer General games and the other variants and stuff, and I love those games and I would get totally sucked into them, but just some of the missions would take forever. Alright, let's hit some knobs. We're just taking it. Finally dropped one. Yeah, I saw there's a new Fantasy Journal coming out. I don't know if it's out yet or if it's coming soon, but yeah, I'm definitely interested in that. I never played the original. I do have it. I actually have more games. Oh, got a battle wagon. on GOG than I do on Steam, but GOG has a lot of kind of older games and stuff, and they had kind of a thing where you bought something else and got Fantasy General, the old one, for free. So I have it. I'm assuming I can actually play it, but I haven't messed around with the original one. But I played all the Panzer General games, People's General, Warhammer Rights of War. I never really got a chance to play Pacific General or Allied General, one of the first ones. But yeah, I loved all the old SSI games. Pretty much everything they did, I would go out of my way to look for. I guess we've got to go around because he's kind of blocking. Just look that direction for now. Battle Wagon's probably full of nasty stuff. Yeah, a lot of those older games, they can be really, really cool and really engrossing, but some things have just not aged well, that's for sure. Going back and playing some of the older stuff, it's like, I don't remember it looking like this. Did I move everybody? Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, it'd be nice to actually have something that's the similar vein of a game and someone making it now. Alright, let's give the orcs their chance and see what happens. I'm a little concerned about the battle wagon. He just decided to take off. Oh, my poor bikers. A little bit exposed. That's it. It's like in Fantasy General 1 is like 8 colors or something. Yeah. Well, I still remember there was a game I played a lot of on my old, had a Commodore 64, was our first computer, and I had a game called Wizard's Crown, which was a pretty in-depth RPG, but the actions were basically, they were kind of like little white stick figure characters, and they only had one movement, but you could pick a whole lot of them with kind of different equipment and stuff. So some of them had shields and stuff, or a staff, or a great axe, or an axe and a shield, but they would always kind of repeat the same actions and stuff. But I spent, God, I don't even know, probably like 300 or 400 hours playing that game, and I never even finished it. Yeah, I loved Wizard's Crown. It's a great game. Well, from what I played and what I remember, anyway, it was a great game. It was a long time ago. Just looking to see if there's anything out here. It's kind of like I had that and the original Wasteland a long time ago, which I never finished either, because I kind of got to a puzzle that I couldn't get through. And of course, back then, if you couldn't figure it out, you know, tough crap. There's no way to look up how to figure it out, or you're kind of like, is this a glitch? Is this broken? Or am I just stupid? What's going on? Now, Wasteland 1, I was running into a problem where I'd upgraded people to finally having energy weapons, but I had pretty much stripped the entire area of the energy packs you need to recharge your rifles and stuff. And there was this underground base that you were trying to go into that had all these booby traps and things in it. And there was this one puzzle kind of in it where if you moved onto a tile, it would kind of push you in a different direction. I mapped the whole thing out, and you had to go from one end of the room to the other, and I figured out how to get to that last tile from multiple different directions, but as soon as you moved into that last tile, it would just push you out. So you couldn't actually finish the puzzle, and I don't know if that was a glitch or if I was just stupid. I mean, I was pretty young at the time, but I actually pulled out the graph paper and mapped it all out and was trying to figure out everything and stuff. Just was never able to progress from there. I just got to the point where I couldn't make any more progress. Or I could, but I was fighting a lot of robots and stuff, and if I was using my old, like, regular projectile weapons, like M16s and AKs and stuff, you know, you burn an entire clip shooting at a robot and do like 5 points of damage. The energy weapons were kind of the only way to take them out, but I kept running out of ammo for the energy weapons, and there was nowhere to get more, except for like this base. So how can I see these guys. I don't understand how that's happening, but I'll take the shot anyway. It's a 10% chance. Sure, okay, whatever. I'll take the shot. That's, yeah. Alright, so the plan is heavy flamers will lead the way, and we'll march our way into here and burn everything in the way as we go up. And then this might lead into this other one as well. So we'll kind of see. Yeah, line of sight in games is always weird. It's just one of those recurring things. See them from here. I can see him, I shoot him. You can't see anything. Well, now you can. What? I swore you couldn't see anything before when I moved him. Alright, I'll take the shot. Might take out part of the wall here, but that's fine. Should have done that first, make him a little bit more exposed. Alright. Guess we'll go here and we'll kind of look the other direction in case orcs come from that way. Looking, yeah, that's fine. Kind of checking this area. They might come up from here. Got a lot of dark spaces that I haven't exposed yet. Nothing here. I'm going to kind of hide, and then next time we can try to pop up and maybe kill some stuff that might be inside, and then jump back. Oh yeah, I checked out your Twitter the other, or not Twitter, your Twitch the other day, and saw that you were Dutch. And you didn't learn English till you're 16. At least I think you were Dutch. I'm thinking of the right person. Danish, not Dutch. Close. I was close. Start with a D. It's, you know, Denmark and the Netherlands are close to each other, kind of. Pretty close. What am I going to do here? Ah! Okay, that's a lot of stuff. You're now mortally offended. I apologize. Let's try to drop something on these knobs in the back. Let's see what happens. Okay, that was bad. Keep inching ahead. I do have a melt-a-bomb, but getting into that battle wagon is probably a suicide mission if I wanted to do that. Probably have to move my bikers here. So try not to block my own line of sight if I can. I still have a shot. It's easy to remember. If you just remind yourself, I'm sweet, fat, and pasty. Danish. Now I want a Danish. Thanks. Alright, what are my chances here? 90! Or the knobs, 60. I guess we'll go for the shoe boys. splat. I wonder if that battle wagon is loaded or not. If you can tell. Yep, there we go. Knobs of sluggas, shooters, burn, multiple burners are in that thing. Okay, we probably want to blow that up. You've got some armor penetrating rounds. I don't know if I can get an angle on him though. I can't tell for sure. Probably not from here. Maybe from here? It's hard to tell with the hills, especially. Here's my lane speeder. There, that's my center land speeder. Kind of got to stick myself in a bad spot to get an angle at that thing. We could try from here and see. Nope, no shots from there. He moves up that hill, try to light him up. Don't like it. No, sir, I don't like it. Alright, we've got more knobs. And some units here that are apparently invisible. That's fine. Let's try to stay in a little bit of cover here. If they want to come up over the hill, we can shoot them up. We've got my, what was it, Tangle Grenade with these guys. There aren't any big concentrations of infantry, though. Let's hang out here, hopefully in cover. We'll see what happens with them. It may not be a great decision. Okay, that's all set. I'll keep moving over to the left. The first game I remember playing, like computer game. What is the first game I remember playing? We had some really odd old Commodore 64 games when I was a kid. I remember playing. We had a friend of mine had an old Atari when I was really young, and I remember playing Pac-Man on that. We had an Intellivision actually. Which is kind of one of those obscure little home console things with some early games on it. But actually, I'm pretty sure Pong. My aunt had a little home console thing a really long time ago, before we had one. I think it was before we had one. It's kind of like hazy memories at this point. But she had kind of a game thing that had multiple games on it. I'm pretty sure Pong was one of them, and then there was one where you're like two cowboys shooting at each other with some cactuses in the way that were blocking. But they were, like super simple, sort of early console kind of things. But a lot of Commodore games. I remember a lot of Commodore games. Spent a lot of time playing Commodore. Go. Yeah, I'm old enough that it's just kind of barely on the edge of that, the beginning of sort of home consoles and stuff. Oop, we got more enemies. So I'm kind of guessing you're probably around the same age as me. What was your first game that you played? I'm curious. It's kind of hard to remember at this point. It's the hazy recollections. God, they survived. Space Invaders clone. Stepfather coded it on a ZX81. Huh. Yeah, I remember we had Space Invaders on our television, playing that a little bit. I remember playing a lot of early arcade stuff too. We used to go to, I don't know if they had them in Europe, but there was a chain when I was a kid, Godfather's Pizza, and there was one near our house we used to go to, and we'd always like this exciting thing to go there and go play the arcade games. So things like Donkey Kong and Rampage and stuff like that. You'll never forget the game because you turned it off and deleted it accidentally, which got you a spanking. Yeah, I can imagine if you... How many hours did you spend coding that and then turned it off and all that work is just gone? The old days. Yeah, I don't even know. ZX81 doesn't even sound familiar. Did that even have like a floppy drive in it or anything? I know some of the really early ones even had like magnetic tape. I never saw anything like that, but like home, even some of the home stuff had like these weird magnetic tape things and stuff. Yeah, before floppies, yeah. Yeah, when a floppy was floppy. That's how old I am. Ah, they exploded. Don't have any other shots, do I? Nope. Alright, hang out there. Yeah, before the old 12-inch floppies, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's really thinking back to like when I was a kid, it's amazing how much has changed in a really short amount of time. Getting old. That's how I know I'm old. The world is very different than when I was young. Listen here, youngins, and I'll tell you a story. Yeah, I've seen some old footage of some like really old home computers that actually used like cassette tape kind of things, but it was with magnetic tape for programming and stuff. But I never actually saw any of that in real life. So that was stuff that like I saw on like YouTube and things much later as like early computer things and stuff. I'm like, I never saw anything like that. But yeah, just the amount of things that have changed. Like I remember when a lot of the LucasArts stuff was coming out, like the point-and-click adventure games, and they had like the two versions. You could get the version on the floppy with no voice tracks, or you could buy the CD for extra, which had the voice tracks on it. Things like that. You know, it's amazing how much that stuff has changed. Yeah, ZX81 came out in 81. That would make sense. Used cassette tapes for storage. Yeah. Crazy. Wow. What the heck happened there? Somebody else shoot him. There we go. Well, he dumped everybody out of the battle wagon. So that might be a good time to use Tangle if I can move up and just tangle those guys. Oh, we got artillery. Miss. Going for my heavy bolters. Yeah, I came out 81. Your stepfather had it maybe 83 or so. Yeah. I'm trying to remember when. I don't remember how old I was when we got a Commodore 64. I was pretty young. Like I'm a tiny bit older than you, but not much. Yeah, when was it? I was probably... It had to be at least 83 or 84 when we got our Commodore, I think. Something like that. If I'm remembering correctly, which is certainly possible, I'm not. I don't like this many orcs hanging out right here. A later stepfather got a portable Commodore 64. I never knew they made a Commodore 64 that was portable. Huh. That kind of begs the question, how many stepfathers have you had? Yeah, it was massively heavy. It looked like a suitcase where the top came off and was the keyboard. Huh. Holy crap, man. You had 5 stepfathers? I'm not sure how to respond to that. Dude. Yeah, that kind of situation, I imagine there's got to be some crazy shit was going on in your family then. Yeah, a bit of a misadventure. What am I going to do here? That's empty. You're banged up. You're a little banged up, but you heal over time. I think we'll be okay here. Well, I've got to take some shots if I want to move the flamers in. Do I have some shots already? I do. Let's do that then. Well, that's cool, man. Yeah, that's a pretty crazy situation to be in. So I'm glad things sort of stabilized for you eventually. I think most families have some issues, but, you know, there's a limit to what's kind of sort of normal and what's not.
He's dying!
Yeah. Yeah, you could look at it that way if you're adopted. It's, yeah. Other people get their families randomly. I got to choose mine. Or I was chosen for mine, depending on the situation and circumstances. Yeah. Yeah, the way some people treat, like, kids is kind of crazy. Some people would do anything to have a kid, and other people treat their kids like complete and utter crap.
We gotta get out of here!
Yeah, my home life was not anywhere near that exciting, but it was quite a bit different than a lot of other people I knew. Nothing too crazy. Fairly normal for the US, I think. 25... 60... 20. Guess we'll shoot the burners. So, yeah, I could see, even if you didn't have any previous mental issues, like thinking for your mom, if your family was mostly killed off all at one time in like a car accident or something like that, I mean, even the most stable person is going to have some issues because of that. I don't really like clumping up here, but I don't see a better option. I could take shots here, but I'd definitely end up hitting my own guys. Yeah, looking back, it's kind of interesting. One of those things with a lot of families, you know, a lot of people weren't that aware of a lot of mental health issues and things in the past, so things like depression or bipolar and stuff. Really, you know, in the past, it was just sort of like, yeah, just get over it. That's what everybody does. But it's not really like that for a lot of people. It's not something you can just do. Ooh. Well, there's the war boss, but let's worry about the Killican first. Oh, he didn't die. Jeez. Thought for sure that would finish him off. Yeah, you're like, I was a horrible kid. Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of that has to do with sort of what was going on when you were a kid and how you were raised and how you're treated and the situation and all that. So. No, that's a cliff. Okay, I was thinking maybe I could get in back here, but it doesn't look like it. Alright, we'll have to swing back around here. Shit, man, that sucks. Yeah, you wanted to track her down again after a long time and found out she was dead already. I guess if you hadn't seen her since you were 13, and then been quite a long time, still I can understand, you know, still family's family. I had some issues with my dad and stuff, but still felt like, you know, yes, he's my dad, but just kind of a douche, that's all. Not talking very often, but then, you know, he started having health problems later and stuff, so you feel kind of bad about not communicating as often as you could have and things like that. I mean, it doesn't even matter what the situation is. Anyone can have those kind of things happen. Timing is timing. It's just the way it goes. Don't know what I want to do with you.
Run them down.
Don't want to run in and get shot up with you, that's for sure. Yeah, my dad ended up having some health issues and stuff and really wasn't able to communicate much. And then ended up, since I don't live anywhere near him and stuff, and then he ended up dying when I couldn't visit him or see him or anything. Kind of a crappy feeling when that happens. Even though I hadn't really communicated that much, and he was much more invested in his new family and, you know, those kind of things. Stuff like that happens, but yeah, timing is timing. There's not much you can do about it. I think everybody's family has weird crap going on in it at some point. At least I hope so. I'd feel a lot more normal if that's the case. But man, your situation is pretty crazy. It's kind of weird, like, from like an American perspective, we kind of think about like Europe having much more social protections and being a bit tighter in a lot of ways. So it's almost kind of surprising to hear about your kind of situation. I guess we just don't expect that that's kind of the way it is other places, not just in the U.S. But people are people everywhere, it doesn't matter. Yeah, human's gonna human, yeah. Unfortunately. Kind of want to get them in a position where if we have a cluster, I can tangle bomb, but for now I'm just going to hang out behind this cover. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the exact line, but I listen to a lot of death metal stuff, and Entombed, one of the bands I used to listen to a lot, that had a line at one point about, what was it? Something about to the point of where not being human would be a source of pride, point of inner pride, something like that. People can suck. Well, they went splat. I guess I better find some more targets. There's some targets. I identify as a zebra. Yeah, people can suck. Yeah, it's one of those things, you know, taking classes and stuff when I got a bit older. One of the things that really stuck with me was trying to think about, are people inherently good or inherently evil? And one thing that a teacher once suggested was maybe people are just inherently selfish. And that kind of changed the way I thought a bit about that question. So in a way, I kind of feel like a lot of people, maybe not everyone, but a lot of people will typically always do whatever is easiest, whatever requires the least effort, even if that's messed up. And a lot of people, I think, don't think long-term either. I think our brains aren't really that adept at thinking long-term. Yeah, self-absorbed. You can kind of look at it that way too. Yeah, it's sort of what's easiest for me in the moment. So even thinking about like technological advancement, in a lot of ways, it's how can I make this easier for me? And in a way, you might have altruistic motives, and yeah, I want to make this easier for everyone, but in a way, sort of the initial idea, how can I make this easy for me? How can I make this easier? Just kind of a different spin on the idea of people being inherently good or inherently evil. And I think there's definitely a range, too. I mean, there are definitely people who are born sociopaths and born psychopaths and that kind of thing, too. So you have a pretty wide range of experience as well. My degree's in criminal justice, so I got into that stuff a lot, actually. Well, the war boss is on the move. Oh, direct hit. Ow. Ow, again. Giant orky shotgun. Oh, this might hurt. That wasn't bad. Can they get through there, or does that count as a cliff? That's cliff there. That's a nice clump of orcs there for artillery to target. Yeah, I'm saying, like, I think most people strive to be decent, but they're rather poorly informed and too lazy to try to understand stuff unless it can make their lives simpler. Yeah, and I think part of that is that in the past, there was less information. So in a way, it was easier to understand a subject more. Things are so complicated and require so much study and have kind of specialized language that in a way, it's very difficult to be a really informed about a lot of things. You have to take a lot of time to really learn a subject well, and that's sort of different than it used to be. There we go. But that idea that sort of, in a way, it's almost harder now for people to really be informed, an informed voter, or an informed consumer, or informed socially conscious in any way, shape, or form. Well, yeah, and people in groups are dumb, yeah. People are morons by and large. Maybe. Groups of people definitely. Get people in a group and just something happens. I don't know what happens exactly, but it's like the overall IQ of any group of people just drops. Would get shot there. Guys are a little banged up. We could run in and go close combat on the kill it can. We'll take some shots on the way, but we'll get some health back if we kill it. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, that was a pretty good hit. Okay, nobody die. Just need you to punch this guy to death. Get some health back. Okay, that wasn't nearly enough. This is health. 22. How did you do only 8 points of damage with Power Fists? Come on. There we go. And we get some health back. And we've got kind of a wreck in the way as well. That's something. But they're in a little bit of a bad spot. Actually, what's your morale? It's okay. We've got reinforcements. I don't think the war boss can get through here because we've got the wreck. Can shoot through though. War boss. Yeah, 15%. Oh, target him. Thank you. So what kind of, you have a friend who's a social scientist, so what kind of stuff? Like a psychiatrist, sociologist? Most of my background's kind of in more sociology, so that's a bit more what I'm familiar with. But kind of taking classes and stuff and getting my degree, there's definitely some stuff that really made a lot of sense and really resonated with me. You know, some theories and things you kind of read, and it's like, yeah, maybe. Other things really seem to make a lot of sense. Yeah, sociology. Yeah. My brother got into psychology, ended up doing some counseling for a while, and hated it. But doing criminal justice, I kind of felt like sociology was a bit more useful. Because mostly I'd be looking at these mass studies and things, what works, what doesn't. Looking at groups in general instead of specific individuals. But then also, at some points, I had a class just on criminal profiling, which was pretty interesting. Just kind of some of the ideas about behavior and motivation for serial killers, things like that. Definitely some interesting topics. There's still a lot of debate, people kind of deciding how much of it is biological, how much of it is nurture versus nature, those kind of things. I'm not sure any of that's going to be completely resolved for a long time. I've got really low chances here. I might just take it anyway, just to see. The Scandinavian criminal justice system. I don't know a huge amount. We mostly studied American examples and things, and I did take one class that kind of looked at justice systems in other countries, just as a whole. So I don't have a lot of experience. I think you have like a maximum like life sentence is something like 20 years or something, 20, 25 years is like your life sentence, if I'm recalling correctly. I know that your prisons are pretty much any European prison is going to be a much better place than American prisons. Chances are really low here. This is we're so close, I guess. 16 years for life. Yeah, that's... I'm too much of an American to agree to that. That seems ridiculously short amount of time for killing someone else. There could definitely be exceptions depending on the circumstances and what happened, of course, but yeah, I do feel like the idea of a prison really should be to make people less likely to commit crimes. Otherwise, what's the point? But American prisons really aren't very good at that. It's just sort of warehousing. Yeah, trying to get people back into society should be kind of the focus. And that was sort of the history of American penitentiaries. Sort of we were really one of the first countries that actually imprisoned people for crimes instead of, doing things like cutting the tips of someone's nose off or branding or that kind of stuff. But the original penitentiary, the original idea was sort of a place for people to be penitent, which was to repent for their sins, and that people in there would be sort of isolated from each other and would actually be given instruction and taught how to read, and they'd have these personal connections with sort of the instructors, moral teachers, and people who would be teaching them, educating them, that kind of thing, and actually had a pretty good success rate at people not reoffending later in life. But a lot of that went out the window when you started having massive overcrowding, and the expenses were involved, and how expensive is it to build a penitentiary and maintain it and staff it and all that kind of stuff. So Denmark had the 4th lowest crime rate in the world and the lowest repeat offender rate in the world. At least before the budgets got slashed. Yeah, generally the Nordic countries do pretty well at a lot of that stuff. Scandinavian countries are all fairly good about that. Kind of prioritizing reintegration, prioritizing rehabilitation over anything else. Try to kill the runt herd here. Oh, not quite. By Danish standards, you're a career criminal, having served 4 sentences. I'm assuming that was all juvenile stuff, though, at least based on what you've been talking about. And that's sort of, I would assume it's kind of treated the same way in the U.S. It's one of the few places where you actually do have sort of an expectation of rehabilitation in the U.S. is when you're dealing with juvenile offenders, where the goal of the system really is supposed to be rehabilitation over everything else. So juvenile records are typically closed. No one can really access it once you're older. Oh, I wish. Have you been bad? What am I going to do here? Pushing in on this one pretty well. It's mostly GBH. What's GBH? Is that grievous bodily harm? That would be my guess, anyway. Yeah, that's like, people do change over time.
Run them down.
I think definitely as I get older, like I definitely was kind of a sort of much more angry person when I was younger. But I think that's a fairly common thing for a lot of people. What can we do here? Still have some units here I'm not sure what I'm going to do with. Let's see what I can get on the left. Alright, 110, I'll take that. I'll just shoot from here. "7 years ago, I had a revelation. What I do is my own decision entirely." Yeah, I used to work with teens who were in trouble for committing various offenses, and that was sort of one of those common things. It just seemed like a lot of people, we called it thinking errors, but sort of, it's everyone else's fault but mine, and the victim deserved it because of X, Y, or Z, or whatever. And I think it's a fairly common sort of self-centered way of looking at the world and things, especially for younger people. Alright, we've got that pretty clear. So how easy is it, for example, in Denmark, like finding jobs and stuff with a criminal record? I know in the U.S. it actually is one of those things that's really difficult for people to adjust because employers just really won't give people a chance or an opportunity to, even after they've served their time, they've done their thing. Hopefully rehabilitated. But the U.S. doesn't really put much effort into that. So you have government programs reward employers for taking ex-cons. Yeah. It seems like here in the U.S., or in the U.S. in general, that nobody wants to hire anyone with any kind of serious criminal record. So if you've got a felony, which is any kind of serious offense, that good luck getting any job, really. So how do you expect people to be able to change and make a life for themselves and stay out of trouble, essentially, if you're giving them no viable options for a way to make a living? What do you expect, basically? Yeah, the U.S. could definitely do a whole lot more in that regard. Yeah, pretty much like if you go in the U.S., like a fast food restaurant or something, that's where the people who've made lots of bad life choices, that's where they are. Because no one else will hire them. Maybe some kitchen work, maybe some laboring, that kind of thing, maybe. That's about it. But yeah, I mean, people should be able to get their education, people should be able to have some kind of ability to make a life for themselves. You take that away from them, yeah, what do you expect? It's going to happen. Oh, comes the boss. I don't think the war boss can get out of there. Morale's gonna get trashed here. I don't know if we're gonna have reinforcements pop in on the flanks here or not. Maybe once I grab the objectives, reinforcements will come in behind me, which will be great. I'm gonna kill that artillery. I'll try swinging in from the left on the flank here, probably. Since I've got extra guys here. I know that artillery's somewhere there. Oh, sorry to hear you had a work accident. Bad enough to put you on disability. That's kind of sucky. Do know someone who worked at the post office in the US and ended up hurting their back. Was dealing with just massive amounts of problems with that, trying to get the post office to actually make allowances for him to heal and everything else. Them not really wanting to give him the time to heal. I don't think he ended up going on disability. It's been a while since I talked to him. But yeah, it seems like a pretty obvious thing. Yeah, moving packages around, you might hurt your back. Probably happens all the time. Ah, got crushed while moving a metal sheet press. Yeah, that doesn't sound fun at all. Crushed by the machine. Like squeezed. I'm not sure how. Depends on how they're moving it, I guess. It partially fell over on you. Holy shit, dude. How were they moving it if it fell over? Targets. Torso got squished and broke a hip. Yeah, I could definitely see that. It must have pinned you like wall in the machine, something like that. God, even if it's sort of like, it has so much mass, even if it just sort of bounced and barely hit you and knocked you to the floor or something and didn't really squeeze you, so much force. Just break a bone. Super easy. Moving it solo? Oh, it's got pinned under it. Holy shit. Dude, you have the most messed up stories. I mean, it's entertaining, but I feel bad being entertained in a way. I'm just not going to get these blood claws into combat. Alright, let's call in some artillery. Maybe back here. I had the back half of the machine on a forklift, and it slung the forklift remote over the front of the machine. I was putting down a wheel thingy under the front end of the machine when I slipped. Yeah, you're lucky to be alive, man. Yeah, somehow I fell onto the front of the machine in my efforts to grab something to prevent my fall. I managed to catch the remote for the forklift and hit the raise lift button so the machine tipped on top of me. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I mean, you're just going to frantically grab it, whatever, try to get out, and then have something like that happen. Let's go here for now. Yeah, broke pretty much everything. Yeah, that much, even if it's a fraction of the weight, it's still a massive amount of weight. Tip it over on you. Alright, do some killing here, guys. Come on. Oh, so you still had the wheel thing in your hand, so that kept it from totally tipping over. Got it. Man, that's lucky as hell. So my dad was a longshoreman long ago, and so working around offloading boats and stuff. And the guys there were always like working crazy hours, working, you'd get like double or triple time because you're working these insane hours and times. When the boat comes in, you work, that kind of thing. And it seemed like about every 5 years or so, somebody would get crushed somewhere, just because everyone's so tired and out of it and exhausted, but they're still working for the money, for the paycheck. And then somebody makes an accident and somebody gets crushed. And something that actually kind of, I think, was part of why he had some issues was had a couple friends of his die. Part of the reason I never wanted to do that job and decided to do something different with my life when I got older, as opposed to following him into the same kind of job. But you know, that kind of thing where you're dealing with these massive, heavy things, whether it's suspended in the air on a crane, or whether it's on jacked up, or whether it's on a forklift, any of that kind of stuff. Oh, my biker killed the war boss. Let's hide down here. So you're calling yourself a cripple. Are you actually unable to walk or anything? I would imagine even that much damage probably could be some permanent loss ability to walk. Or is it just something that's very difficult? In a way, I feel like it's sort of bad enough just getting older, actually feeling some of the differences and stuff, but I can't imagine having a sudden loss of mobility or ability to do something.
We're gonna explode!
Yeah, so that's exactly what happened with me. It was the end of a 14-hour workday. My shop was on a deadline. Basically, I had to supervise 2 of my guys because they weren't super experienced and we needed the press. I managed to talk the owner into lending it to us. So I was in a hurry getting into the shop. Yeah, those kind of situations, things can go bad just insanely fast. Try to get a shot on the Kill-A-Can here.
For us and the All-Father!
Good damage. Yeah, I can't do heavy lifting anymore. Have to move about with some care. Mostly just chronic pain. Yeah, and that sucks too. I've had a tiny bit of issues with that. Not anywhere near as bad as a lot of other people. I've had a couple lung surgeries, which isn't fun, and I don't recommend it. But because of them, I've got kind of some constant mild pain, but it's fairly mild. Nowhere near what a lot of other people experience after having kind of like major injuries, car accidents, or anything like that. It's kind of nothing compared to what I deal with, but it's enough that it's sometimes distracting, but that's about it for me, honestly, which is pretty good. But I still don't recommend lung surgery. Actually, you might have had lung surgery if you got crushed a bit. Depends on where, I guess. If you had the wheel up that it was enough to save your torso, left lung was punctured, yeah, so rib cracked and punctured the lung. Yeah. Sucky, sucky, that's for sure. But considering the amount of force that was thrown at your body at that moment, it's amazing what we can withstand if we have a little bit of wiggle room. But yeah, you need that wiggle room. It's like people getting in car accidents and stuff, and if you've got the room and it doesn't collapse around you and crush you, it's probably okay. Yeah, drowning in your own blood, pretty creepy. Yeah, I never had anything quite that bad, just I had a little bit of blood in my lung, but not enough that I felt like I was drowning or anything. It's the viscosity. The taste. Yeah. Not a lot of orcs left. And I still haven't used my Tango Grenade. I should do something with these guys. I guess we could run them into combat for no reason. Is there anybody I want to level up? Looking at who I can get kills with. Biker, maybe? Yeah, the experience is like experiencing something you feel like this is going to kill me, and there's just nothing you can do about it, but you have plenty of time to think about it. Yeah, I definitely understand. Anyway, happier topic. Yeah. Yeah, for me, I just had kind of a freak thing where my lung collapsed, and I had a big bleb, which is kind of like a big bubble that forms when you lung collapse and then sort of partially reinflates, kind of on its own. So I had a surgery for that, and then a couple, well, 8 or 9 years later, I had to have surgery again because the first surgery ended up failing, and my lung collapsed again. And that second time was a whole lot worse, and it was a far more invasive, complicated surgery. And the first time I coughed up some blood and had a little bit of issue with that, but nothing too insane. But the second time, they ended up, it was a pretty massive surgery where instead of just some little incisions and scratching up your lungs a bit and your rib cage, we're going to have to pry your whole rib cage open and take out one of your ribs and do a whole bunch of other stuff just to get access to your lung. So that was fun. Like I said, I would not recommend. 1 out of 10, do not recommend. I only got a 20% chance, but I'm going to take the shot here anyway. Just to see. I guess the tires might be in the way. I've got a shot here for some reason. 5%? Sure. So basically the way that they fix your lung if it collapses like that is essentially what they do is they scratch up the outside of your lung and scratch up the inside of your rib cage and stick them together, so the scar tissue will hopefully stick them together permanently. So I've had that done a couple times to the same lung, so yeah, that's not great either, but could be a whole lot worse. Wondering, how big are the cars on this planet? So those tires are about half the height of a dreadnought, something like that. Maybe more? Yeah, maybe up to the shoulder. Well, not quite the shoulder, maybe. So how tall is a dreadnought? Regular Space Marines, what, in armor 9, 10 feet? Something like that? Dreadnought's got to be 15 feet minimum, I would guess. 7 feet for a Marine. In armor? Depends on the Marine. Yep, 7 feet, huh? I totally forgot about my artillery. I don't have to do anything. I just bombard these guys with artillery. There we go. That's better. That's a bit more open. I've got the land speeders, I've got bikes. Anybody else free to move? You, yeah, let's move you. Yeah, I should have done that first. I should have just fired the artillery on there. You know, no more walls for you. But oh well. Heavy bolter probably won't do much to kill a can. That's nice. We do have the vengeance ammo here, so maybe we can kill him off. Blink. Or not. Our chance to hit's pretty bad. Oh, there we go. And we gotta level up. What do we want? 30 HP for melee kills. I already have this ability. I guess we'll take the HP for melee kills. He was way too excited by that. I'm still expecting reinforcements to suddenly pop in at some point. Let's see. I've got one unit back there. That might be it, actually. Let's just move on in. I think I killed everything, so we might have reinforcements coming in, or I might have to grab the objectives, I'm not sure. Yeah, let's leave them facing that way. Oh, there's a red spot. That's just the objective, though. Kind of blocking my own way in here, unfortunately. Alright, let's kind of reposition in case we have reinforcements come in from the sides. I just want to be able to see if anything suddenly shows up. Guys, let's go here. Let's take the high ground. Could be something hiding back there. Guess we can take a look. Nope, nothing. Okay. It's 4 a.m.? Jeez, man. You're waking up for your morning stroll along the lakes. That sounds pretty nice. Actually, how cold is it there? If it's 4 a.m. in November, next to a lake. Guess it depends on the year, but that still sounds pretty nice. Right around freezing. Yeah, it's not bad. For 4 a.m., that's pretty good. I'll take it. Yeah, have a good walk, man. I'm sure I'll see you around again. Yeah, thanks a lot for dropping by. Thanks for the chat. To kinks. Thanks, even. Yeah. Yeah, have a good one. I'll see you again. Alright, now that's everybody. Okay. I'm expecting reinforcements are going to pop in here. Maybe not this turn, but soon. Oh, no, there's a guy hiding in the back. Okay, maybe that's the last guy. With the knobs up on the hill. So if we kill them, that might be it. So let's try for it. See if we can finish them off. Can you make it? No. Okay, we've got debris in the way. So we have to actually break this if we want to get in from this direction. Otherwise we have to go around. Do you have shots? Let's grab the objective. And then see if we have shots. This might be the last. Let's see if we kill him off here. Well, that's it. No reinforcements for the orcs. Well, that went a bit longer than I expected. Skirmishes, it seems like it's kind of depends on the scenario and stuff. But it was a pretty big battle. 5,000 points is a lot. So we lost nobody. Didn't level up anybody, though. I did. I leveled up, what's his face? The commander guy. The commander of the Terminator armor we leveled up, but he's not actually showing as a level up here. Whatever. Alright, so there'll be another skirmish next time we get into this, and then we'll deal with the last of the missions. But that'll be it for today. So thanks for hanging out. I do appreciate it. Hopefully I will see you all again some other time. I know we had quite a bit of a discussion today. It was pretty interesting stuff, though. So hopefully I will see you all again. If you're interested in earlier parts of this stream or other streams I've done, you can check out my YouTube channel, which is also Disturbing Puppet. I'm currently doing some Blood Bowl games and putting them up there. And just kind of recording those whenever I can and just throwing up there instead of actually streaming them. Just because it fits in my schedule a little better. Anyway, hopefully you guys have a good one. I'll see you again. Thanks.